right, we're here at my indoor worm bin. I think last time I said outdoor worm bin. Just gonna get some of these worms off the side here. We are actually on the third tray of this Vermihut system. And in our last video, we got the castings of the very first tray that I had started with the 2,000 worms. So these are the same worms and they're up to the third level. And as you can see, they have eaten through the newspaper, which is one of my indicators that I could probably be feeding them a little bit more. I also noticed that it's down a lot lower. I had a pretty huge hump here. Now I did go in and take the temperature, and 2 feedings ago, we got up to like 91 degrees. This feeding, it was more like 87, 88, and I fed right in this area. And there was definitely a temperature gradient all the way back to over here, where it was down in like 79 type temperatures. So I still mixed it up so that it would have an even temperature all around, but I think this side thing is what I'm gonna keep doing. And I'll just keep going to this side, I don't mind, because I'm gonna mix it up pretty well. But I'll get this newspaper here out of the way, and I'm just gonna, I don't even know, set it to the side, or yeah, I'll take it out and then just kind of put it on top. I may have to put a new piece of newspaper in. I should probably see if there's any worms in here, but I'll set it to the side and they'll be able to do their thing. So let's dig in and see what we've got. And of course, as usual, right away, good amount of worms. Always really impressed in here with how many worms. Like I said, I started with 2,000 in one tray, and they built up to 3 trays, and they go up and down and even into the lid. I think I've mentioned that before. Now, if you've watched the last feeding video, we put couple paper towel rolls or toilet paper rolls, and one really sturdy paper towel roll. Just kind of a hard cardboard. Here's just a bunch of worms. But they're into the cardboard, the toilet paper roll, and I did come across it and rip it up. The hard one I did not rip up, and it's down here. I'm gonna pull it out here in a second. But I think it might, yeah, it's definitely softer. I wouldn't be able to squeeze it last time, but they have probably dug in. I can't even see through it, but they've dug in a hole here. So I did pretty good on this feeding. I do see some of the carrot top stringy stem, and then I think this is from a while ago, banana stem, banana bunch stem, I should say. But I think this is probably gonna be my second or third to the last feeding before I put another level on. So I'm gonna put some bedding in here again, but probably my last feeding before we put another level on. I will not put any more bedding because there's still some bedding in here that they can go through. And this particular feeding, I have not put any watermelon in between feedings. The last several feedings, I had put watermelon in there just to see what would happen, and I just enjoyed being able to put the watermelon in and watch them devour it, and see how many mites were in, because the mites definitely like the watermelon. But this time around, we'll just, or this past time, I did not feed watermelon in between. And this has been 7 days. I think my last feeding, I went further. I don't know if you can see as I'm digging through here, but there's just worms after worms after worms. squirming all over the place. Let's just dig through this side, mix everything up, aerate it around, and then we will build the feeding section again. And this is cool to the touch. As I touch this right now, it feels like a perfect temperature. So that initial temperature spike just kind of starts at the beginning when you put all your nitrogen and carbon together, just like a normal compost pile would. So something to think about, especially in my outdoor bin. I'll talk about that more when I feed it next, but I started taking the temperature out there and I was pretty surprised with what I got. But let's set up, I'll just kind of put some of this old stuff over here towards this end and build on the new stuff. In fact, I think I'll put this over here too. This is again, the hard cardboard. Just kind of making room. It's amazing to me, I think I mentioned this last time, it's amazing to me that the majority of this bin 49 days ago was just cardboard shreddings and newspaper shreddings, mostly cardboard shreddings. And now it is just so much castings. It's amazing how quickly they can go through. And to tell you the truth, this doesn't even feel like my fastest bin, my outdoor bin. They just devour the food. All right, so we've made an area here, and we'll start with, you know what? I think we're gonna put we'll put down a couple of these. There's two, and then we'll put down shredded cardboard bedding. This also, putting this down first helps capture some of the liquid that naturally comes out of the food as it defrosts. All right, we're ready to load up, and I'm gonna give them a pretty good feeding. Start with this banana. Just kind of lay that in there. And then I've got my normal pretty colorful strawberry, apple. I've got some apricots this time. I busted them open so the worms would have easy access. That's some, I don't know how quickly that'll get broke down, but that was stems from my strawberries that I've been growing. I do like thinking about the fact that I'm bringing nutrients from other farms in the grocery store, and I say other farms, I don't have a farm, but bringing it from farms and taking the part that I don't eat and using the nutrients, and I'm bringing it to my garden, which is just mind-blowing to me. Maybe that just seems simple to everybody else, but it's just pretty interesting to me. And then of course some of this stuff is from my garden, so I'm just recycling it back into my garden. All right, pretty good feeding there. And then we'll do our normal feeding of coffee. And then we'll come in with the pulverized eggshell for their grit. And we'll call that a feeding. I'll just bury this up. If you want to hit the like button, I'd appreciate it. Shows me what you all like to see and helps out the channel. So we're just going to bury this up. I always make sure I bury it. Again, like I've said before, I mean, this is an indoor bin with a lid, so I'm not too worried about varmints getting in here, but it's good for the smell and that kind of thing. I'm sure you could lay food down on top, especially with a lid, and have no issues, but I definitely think they devour the food more quickly when it's buried. Again, these are top surface composting worms. They're not the kind of worms that dig way down, so they like it kind of near the surface anyway. But again, everything I'm doing here is just me learning as I go, learning by doing, and then certainly watching a lot of YouTube videos and looking up research papers through the county extension office, you know, following other people on Instagram, and the farms, you know, the hobbyists and the farms, they each bring different expertise to vermicomposting. So I'm just trying to take it all in and see what works for me. And maybe you'll learn a little bit from this and see what works for you. But that will be about it for my indoor bin. I'll throw some newspaper over here, and we'll call it a day. But I hope you all have enjoyed this and have a great day. Take care now.